You're microwaving your coffee for the third time today. Not because you like it lukewarm, but because between your mother's medication schedule and your daughter's school pickup, you forgot to drink it the first 2 times. You smile when people call you the rock of the family, but inside, you feel more like gravel, worn down, scattered, barely holding shape. This is the quiet reality of the sandwich generation. The growing number of adults caring for aging parents on one side and dependent children on the other, while trying not to vanish in the middle. It's not a role you applied for. It's one that found you through a diagnosis, a fall, a divorce, a pandemic, or simply the slow creep of time. And if you've ever looked in the mirror and thought, "Who am I outside of what I do for everyone else?" or felt a flash of resentment, you immediately buried under guilt, or cried in the car after saying "I'm fine" one too many times, you are not failing. You are human. At its core, this isn't just about being busy. It's about carrying emotional, financial, and physical responsibilities that pull you in opposite directions until your own needs become an afterthought or a luxury you can't afford. Psychologically, this pressure taps into deep wells. Fear of abandonment, the weight of unspoken obligation, the belief that love must be earned through sacrifice. It can activate old attachment wounds, like the childhood fear that if you stop giving, you'll stop being loved. But here's what matters most. This isn't a character flaw. It's a human response to an impossible balancing act, one our culture rarely names and even more rarely supports. If you've ever been confused by your own exhaustion, or wondered why setting a boundary feels like betrayal, or caught yourself saying yes when your body was screaming no, you're not alone. This channel is a safe space for those learning to see themselves clearly, to honor their limits without shame, and to remember that caring for others doesn't require erasing yourself, because you deserve more than leftovers of your own life. You weren't born carrying this weight. No child wakes up one morning and decides, "I'll spend my adulthood stretched thin between my aging parents and my growing children." It happens slowly, quietly, like water filling a cup you didn't realize was already cracked. Maybe it started when you were 8, and your dad lost his job. You remember the hushed voices behind the kitchen door, the way your mom's smile got tighter, thinner, like a thread about to snap. And you learned to tiptoe, to make less noise, to be the easy one. The one who didn't ask for new shoes, who finished homework without being reminded, who hugged your mom extra long before bed, just in case she needed it more than you did. Or maybe it began in your teens, when your grandmother moved in after your grandfather passed. Suddenly your room wasn't just yours anymore. Your weekends weren't free, and your grief, it got tucked away because someone always needed you to be strong. You were praised for it. "You're so mature for your age. We don't know what we'd do without you." And somewhere deep down, a quiet equation formed. My value, how much I can hold for others. This wasn't manipulation. It wasn't weakness. It was adaptation. Psychologists call this role engulfment, when your identity gets absorbed by what you do for others, until there's little room left for who you are. It's rooted in attachment patterns too. If love in your family felt conditional, if affection came only when you were helpful, quiet, or good, your nervous system learned a crucial lesson. Safety depends on service. And let's be clear, this wasn't your caregiver's fault. Many of them were doing their best inside systems that offered no safety nets, no paid leave, no mental health support, no cultural permission to say "I'm drowning." They passed down what they knew, that love means sacrifice, that duty is noble, that asking for help is a burden. These aren't personal failures, they're intergenerational survival strategies, handed down like heirlooms, worn smooth by time and necessity. Think of it like this. In a world where care wasn't guaranteed, you became the guarantee. Where stability felt fragile, you became the glue. Not because you wanted to, but because someone had to. And you were the one who noticed, who stayed, who cared enough to try. That child, the one who learned to read the room before reading a book, still lives inside you. They're the reason you answer your mum's call during your lunch break, why you cancel your own therapy appointment to drive your dad to his scan, why you feel guilty just thinking about taking a weekend off. But here's the gentle truth. What once kept you safe is now costing you your peace. The strategy that helped you belong is now making you disappear. And that's not your fault. It's just time to update the map. Because you don't have to earn love through exhaustion. You were worthy of care long before you ever gave any. So here you are, years later. The child who once tiptoed around tension is now the adult holding everyone together. And the strategy that once kept you safe, it's still running, quietly, automatically, even when it's no longer serving you. You say yes to your mum's 8 a.m. doctor appointment, again, even though you have a deadline and your back hasn't stopped aching since Tuesday. You cancel your own dentist visit. It's not urgent, you tell yourself. But your child's soccer game? You'll be there, even if you're running on 4 hours of sleep and 3 cups of reheated coffee. At work, you're the reliable one. The one who never complains, who picks up extra shifts, who answers emails at midnight. Because if you slow down, who will hold the pieces? In your relationships, you've learned to shrink. Your partner asks, "What do you want for dinner?" And you say, "Whatever's easiest." Not because you don't care, but because choosing feels like a luxury you haven't earned. And when someone finally asks, "How are you doing?" you laugh it off. Change the subject. Say, "Oh, busy." Because the truth that you're exhausted, lonely, and quietly grieving the life you used to imagine for yourself feels too heavy to speak aloud. Here's the painful paradox. Your intent is love. But the impact? Often it's distance. Your kids see you as always there, but they also sense your absence. Not physically, but emotionally. You're present in body, but your mind is calculating medication doses or replaying a tense call with insurance. They learn without being told that their needs matter more than yours and that love means silence. Your parents may appreciate your care, but they also carry guilt. They don't want to be a burden. And yet, every time you say it's fine through gritted teeth, you deny them the chance to see your truth or to offer what little they still can. And you pay a hidden cost. Chronic fatigue that sleep doesn't fix. A low hum of anxiety that never fully leaves. The slow erosion of your sense of self. You can't remember the last time you did something just because it brought you joy. What looks like strength, this endless giving, is often unprocessed fear. Fear of being seen as selfish. Fear of your parents' decline accelerating if you step back. Fear that if you stop being needed, you'll stop mattering. But here's what your nervous system knows, even if your mind hasn't caught up. You can't pour from an empty cup. And you were never meant to be a vessel for everyone else's needs while your own go dry. This isn't weakness. It's the natural consequence of carrying too much for too long, without permission to rest, without support, without a single soul saying, "Put it down, I've got you." And the most heartbreaking part, you've convinced yourself that wanting relief means you love them less. But real love doesn't require self-annihilation. It requires presence, and you can't be truly present when you're running on fumes. So if you've been wondering why you feel numb, or why joy feels distant, or why you snap over small things, it's not because you're failing. It's because you've been giving from a well that hasn't been refilled in years. And that well, it's not selfish to tend to it. It's survival. We don't live in a vacuum. The weight you carry isn't just personal, it's cultural. And our modern world, for all its progress, still treats caregiving like a private duty, not a shared human need. Think about it. Social media floods your feed with images of grateful elders and happy families, but rarely shows the 3 a.m. panic when your mum wanders out of bed confused, or the silent tears you wipe away after your teen says, "You're never really here." Online, caregiving is either romanticized or invisible. And when it's invisible, so are you. Workplace culture doesn't help. You get 2 weeks of parental leave if you're lucky, but 0 for elder care. Flexibility often means working while caregiving, not instead of it. You're expected to be fully present on Zoom while your dad calls for the 3rd time that hour, and no one asks how you're managing. Because in the eyes of productivity, care doesn't count as real work unless it's billable. And then there are the stories we've been told since childhood. Good children take care of their parents. Family comes first. Love means sacrifice. These aren't wrong, but they become dangerous when they're absolute. When family first means your needs are last. When sacrifice becomes self-erasure. When good is defined by how much you can endure without complaint. Worse, we live in a culture that confuses boundaries with betrayal. With betrayal, say you need a weekend off to recharge, and someone might say, but your mum needs you, as if your rest is a luxury and their need is a command. But here's the truth we rarely hear. There's a difference between authentic care and compulsive caregiving. Authentic care is chosen. It comes from a place of capacity, not fear. It includes your own humanity. You show up because you can, not because you're terrified of what happens if you don't. Compulsive caregiving. That's fear in disguise. It's driven by guilt, obligation, or the dread of conflict. It says, if I stop, everything will fall apart. And it leaves you exhausted, resentful, and disconnected from others, and from yourself. Modern life amplifies this trap. We're taught that being nice means never saying no, while also being told that standing your ground means never backing down. No wonder you feel stuck. The script gives you two extremes and no middle path that honors both others and yourself. And let's not forget, this burden falls unevenly. Women, especially women of color, disproportionately carry this role, often without recognition or support. Cultural expectations, wage gaps, and systemic gaps in healthcare turn personal strain into collective injustice. But here's the gentle challenge. Just because a role is noble doesn't mean it should be endless. Just because you can do it all doesn't mean you should. We all want to be seen as loving, responsible, dependable. But not all strategies serve us, or those we love. In the long run, true care isn't sustainable when it's built on self-abandonment. So the question isn't, are you doing enough? It's is this way of giving costing you your soul? And if it is, it's not your fault. But it is your invitation to look beyond the script and imagine a different kind of love, one that includes you. Now that you see it, the origin, the cost, the cultural currents, what do you do? First, let go of the idea that you need to fix yourself or anyone else. This isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. And from awareness comes choice. If this pattern is yours, if you're the one in the middle, start small. Not with grand declarations, but with quiet questions. Am I doing this because I truly want to, or because I'm afraid of what happens if I don't? If no one would judge me, what would I need right now? Notice the moments when I have to slips out. And gently ask, do I, or do I just believe I do? But you can begin to reclaim your presence within it. Try this. The next time you're with your parent or child, put your phone away, take one deep breath, and say to yourself, I'm here, not just my hands, my heart too. Even for 30 seconds. That's where healing begins, not in doing more, but in being there while you do it. And if you feel guilt rising when you consider a boundary, name it. Say quietly, this guilt isn't proof I'm selfish. It's proof I've been taught that love means disappearance. Then do one tiny thing anyway. Say I'll call you back in an hour, instead of answering mid-shower. Order takeout instead of cooking after a 12-hour day. Let someone else handle bedtime once this week. Your worth isn't reduced by your limits. It's revealed by your honesty. Now if this is someone you love who's in the sandwich, your role isn't to rescue them. It's to respond with clarity, not reactivity. When they snap from exhaustion, don't take it personally. A calm, that sounds really hard, can land deeper than advice. When they say I'm fine but look hollow, try, I'm here if you ever want to not be fine for a minute. Offer specific help, not let me know if you need anything, which puts the burden back on them. Can I pick up groceries Saturday? I'll sit with your mum Tuesday morning so you can sleep in. And protect your own energy. You can honor their pain without becoming their emotional repair kit. You can love them deeply and still say, I can't take that call right now. Remember, clarity is kinder than avoidance. Saying I can't help with that is more respectful than saying yes and showing up resentful. And boundaries? They're not punishment. They're the quiet architecture of sustainable love. Most importantly, you don't need to change them. You just need to understand enough to choose your response, instead of reacting from your own fear or guilt. Healing isn't about escaping the sandwich. For many, the roles won't change overnight, but your relationship to them can. You can care deeply and still belong to yourself. You can hold others and still hold your ground, because the goal isn't to carry more. It's to carry differently, with more breath, more honesty, and more room for your own heart. Remember that coffee you microwaved 3 times? It's okay to pour a fresh cup. It's okay to drink it while it's hot. While you're still, you were never meant to be the filling in someone else's story. Squeezed between generations, compressed by duty, invisible in the middle. You are not just a role. You are a whole person, worthy of rest, of joy, of a life that includes you. The truth is, you can love your parents deeply and still need space to breathe. You can adore your children fiercely and still miss the version of yourself that existed before mom or caregiver became your primary name. Your calm is not selfish. Your boundaries are not betrayal. Your need for peace is not a luxury. It's the foundation that lets you show up with love that isn't exhausted, love that isn't borrowed from your own emptiness. And if today all you did was survive, that was enough. You don't have to earn your right to exist. You already have it. So the next time guilt whispers, you should be doing more, try answering softly. I'm doing what I can with the resources I have, the energy I've got, and the heart I'm still learning to protect. Not every storm needs your umbrella. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself and for those you love is to stay dry. If this helped you see your own story in a new light, you belong here. Hit subscribe. And remember, your calm is your compass, even in someone else's chaos.